right here, like I said, there's about 4 or 5 plants. And when you look at this kind of amorphous green, I can understand where people just go, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But really, there are ways to look at all these plants and try to pick out certain characteristics that stand out. And you know, some of these poisonous plants will be trees. They'll be tree height. And some of them will be shrubs, so they'll be in the middle story. And some of them will be what we call herbaceous plants. And herbaceous plants are like ferns and blueberry, I think, now that I think about it. But their stems are not woody like trees and shrubs. They tend to die back in the fall and then come back up in the spring. So I'm looking at some of the ferns here, and one of the ferns that is toxic to equines is Bracken Fern. And I know there's other ferns here, and they kind of all look alike, but there is a difference to the Bracken Fern. And I am going to be picking up some of these plants out of the ground because they are common, so I don't feel too bad about it. Normally I don't ever pick a plant, but I think I will for this particular purpose. So we'll see how easily it comes up. Oop, okay, not too bad. So ferns are kind of typical ferny leaves. I think everybody kind of knows what a fern looks like. Their leaf is cut. You know, there's a lot of cuts, and that gives that ferny look. And with the Bracken Fern, the thing that's distinguishing about this one compared to, say, the cinnamon fern here is that they have a single stem that comes up, and that stem always divides into 3 other stems. And as far as I know, and I'm not a plant expert, as far as I know, Bracken Fern is the only fern that has a main stem and then divides into these 3 stems here. And this fern is one of those plants that grows like in colonies because they do spread underground. They do have these rhizomes, they call them, that go under the ground, and then more ferns pop up. So where you see bracken, and this is just prime habitat, it likes disturbed soil, and this is exactly what this is. You're going to have mounds of bracken. Now, Bracken Fern, it's a funny plant for equines because a lot of them don't care for the taste, but some horses develop a taste for it. And so I suppose if you had a pasture and you had a lot of this popping up in your pasture amongst the shorter grass, you might want to think about it, because if your horse develops a taste for it, there might be a problem. Sometimes it will pop up in hay bales, and it can be a problem there if there's a lot of it and they eat it for, 2 or 3 months. In general, not the most dangerous, just because horses don't always develop a taste for it. They might eat one, and that's something to remember. If a horse eats a poisonous plant and eats a bite, it's probably not going to be a problem. It's when they eat it, for several minutes or for the day or whatever. So that's one of our first poisonous plants. That's Bracken Fern. And again, it has a main stem and then 3 stems coming off. And this will turn beautiful colors in the fall. It's silver, gold, bronze, pewter, and then it dies back, comes back up again in the spring.